G'day, this is Compass FM, and Sergeant Colin Stewart from the Hurunui Police is in studio with me now. Good morning to you, Colin.
Good morning, how are you, John?
I'm really good, thank you. Nice to see you, Colin. Of course, you've been here on Compass FM before. Haven't seen you for a while, though.
No.
You're a busy man up there in the Hurunui.
Yeah, there's always a lot happening up there.
Absolutely, and I really want to have a look at intersections and that sort of thing with you shortly. But of course, summer's upon us, and that means a lot of people will be heading for the briny, getting the boat out, dusting it off, getting the cobwebs dusted off and heading out to sea. Let's have a bit of a look at water safety, particularly around boating this summer, Colin.
Right.
So what are the, let's start at the beginning. Basically, there's several rules, a life jacket for every person on the boat.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's not uncommon to go up to Mott now, for instance, and count 90 cars here, 90 boats out at once. So the risk
Seriously? 90?
Yeah, it is. So it's a very busy wee port, and every year we get people calls for help and assistance, but there's a few things we can do just to reduce the risk to the people on the boats. And one of them is life jackets, and life jackets for everyone, and life jackets that fit people as well. Not oversized, otherwise they just don't function correctly.
Yeah, or undersized, of course. They won't hold you up, won't hold you afloat when you need it to. Is it the skipper's job to ensure that everybody has a life jacket and one that fits?
Yeah, I see it as the person in charge of the boat's responsibility to do it, and particularly with small children, and we've got to take responsibility for them. Because and also having a auxiliary motor that gives you a plan B, and and like we have different sorts of communication. Maritime radio, channel 16 is the emergency channel.
Yep.
Yeah. There's cell phone coverage up there, and generally out of the ocean, but you can't rely on it. Sometimes you just go out of cell phone coverage, and cell phones have got a habit of going flat fairly quickly during a day.
Never trust a cell phone.
No.
So really a PLB, an InReach, something like that, Colin, should be on board as well?
Yeah, definitely. The InReach gives the ability through satellite to send messages out, and always tell someone your intentions, because there's nothing worse than going up there after the tide and seeing a empty trailer and you wonder where the boat is. And generally people don't stay up for the entire tide. And something you've got to be aware of too up there. Well, and I talk about Mutt now because it's probably a risk port to a degree.
Yes.
And it's generally 2 hours, maybe 3 each side of the tide, depending on how big your boat is. So you're better off going out a wee bit earlier and waiting and getting out and then coming home a bit earlier. Otherwise you're out there for the whole tide, and that's a long time out at sea.
Interesting though, you said on a busy day there could be as many as 90 boats launching from there.
Yeah. Last year I know I was up there recently and I just counted the boats, and I've seen 90 vehicles in that car park. Yep.
Do you get a lot of calls, Colin, over a summer period for Motono? There's quite a few incidences of people getting into trouble.
Well, there is. Quite often other boaties help other boaties, so they're not reported to police.
Yep.
So which is great. But we're aware of people like running out of fuel. And when I talk about fuel too, always remember to take sufficient water out, because it's a long day out there. And there's plenty of water, but you can't drink it.
Yep, that's for sure. And sun protection, of course. Keep yourself protected from the sun.
Correct.
And of course an eye on the weather at all times. The InReach, I think you can actually get a forecast with an InReach, can't you?
Yeah. It will download. And if you check the weather map, like you can check Swell Map, and there's other sites that you can check.
Yep.
So you're aware of the weather, and it can be very changeable.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, fairly challenging conditions at times there. Most boaties, of course, will be pretty much onto it, but it's the few that really don't have a clue that I guess are the big concern for you.
Well, it's something you've got to get right every time.
Yep.
And you can't cut corners.
Absolutely. All right, so please think water safety this summer, folks, in the Hurunui, well, wherever you may be boating, and not just at sea, of course, on the lakes and the rivers as well. Colin, we had a triple fatality here in the Waimakariri, and this seems to be happening a lot in Canterbury. We've got a lot of intersections. Let's have a bit of a look around the rules around intersections. Right,
well, probably the one thing that people fail to do is stop at stop signs. They're not giveaway signs, they're stop signs. And the rules are that you stop in a position where you can sufficiently see the way is clear. And that doesn't mean when you're number 2 car or number 3 car that because the first 2 cars have gone through in front of you, you still have to go up to the yellow line, stop, be stationary, in a position where you can see left and right. And a lot of people tend to be comfortable to make the left-hand turn, look to the right, nothing coming, left-hand turn. That can be dangerous because a vehicle coming from the opposite direction can be overtaking. So you can make a left-hand turn, presuming there's no vehicles coming on that side of the road, but there can be someone overtaking.
I can see that. I've got that mental picture. Yeah, you're right.
And it's an absolute nightmare because that vehicle will be going very fast, and speed is one of the factors that kills.
Ooh, and that happens, Colin, does it? You've seen that happen here?
It does happen.
In the Hurunui, yep. Gee, I've never considered that, actually. You're right. You look right, nothing coming, I'm good to go, bang. There's a guy overtaking a car coming from your left.
It is.
Good point. So stop means stop, and that doesn't mean roll on through, or if you're 3 cars behind the one that did stop, it doesn't mean you can go. You've got to get to that line and stop and check both ways. And check a couple of times.
It is. And staff in North Canterbury and Rangiora, we're enforcing that, and we will issue infringement notices on every occasion when we see that occur, because that is one of the greatest risks we have.
What is the fine now? $150?
Costs you $150, and it's 20 demerit points.
Okay.
And if it stops someone from committing that offence, it's money well spent, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. It's not about the money or the demerit points, though. No. It's about saving lives. And what about giveaways? Just a quick look around the giveaway signs, Colin.
Well, giveaway signs is generally dictates the intersection is less dangerous than one with a stop sign. And you've got to be careful on a giveaway sign you don't pull out and impede the traffic flow either. Quite frequently people are comfortable going through a giveaway sign and another vehicle comes up behind them very quickly, so they've impeded that person's ability to travel at the speed they were going. And it's driver experience, but you should treat them with respect too. There's some main roads around here, and you think about Tram Road, South Air Road, State Highway 1, governed by giveaway signs, but we get lots of crashes at intersections, there's no doubt about that.
Absolutely we do, certainly do. And we've got a lot of rail crossings too here in the Waimak and the Hurunui, haven't we? Again.
We do, and they're governed by stop signs prior to going across. I have a great deal of sympathy for train drivers. It is an absolute nightmare for them when people breach that rule and go across. New Zealand Rail do report them to us, and we follow up on all occasions.
So there's more than we're aware of, I guess, that they don't hit the media, but you're hearing about this a lot, are you?
Yeah, we do, and we act on information from New Zealand Rail, and frequently we do visit people after the event, and we do catch up with them.
Okay. Yeah, it would be very stressful, I would imagine, being a train driver in Canterbury.
An absolute nightmare for them.
It would be. Yeah. Sergeant Colin Stewart from the Hurunui Police.
Compass FM.